Okay, number 3, find the set of values for x for which, okay, we've got 2 inequalities. The first one is a linear one because there's no x squareds or anything like that. The second one will be a quadratic one. With inequalities, you start by just treating them like equations. Linear inequalities behave in exactly the same way as equations. You just solve them, but instead of the equal sign, you keep the inequality sign the exact same way around all the way through. Right, linear. So we will take the minus x over to the left, and that means we're keeping the x's positive. Makes it much easier. So we have 5x on the left, and we're going to take the numbers over to the right. So that gives us 20, and then divide by 5. X is greater than 4. That is all there is to it. That's why it's just 2 marks. With part B, I like it when you do that. Part B, it is a quadratic. So you do start by treating it like an equation. If this was a quadratic equation, we would have to multiply it out and then take the 12 over because quadratic equations must be equal to 0. I know it's not an equation, but it behaves like one. So x squared minus 4x and take away the 12 over greater than 0. Keep the inequality sign the same way around. Factorize. I've never seen an inequality question not factorise. There probably will be one next year now I've said that. 12, there's a few factors of 12, but they need to add or subtract from each other to give 4, so that's going to be 2 and 6. And then, get this the right way around, we want minus 6 to get minus 6x, and then plus 2 to get plus 2x. And double check, because positive 2 times a minus 6 gives you minus 12. So that's definitely factorised. If it was an equation, we would write x equals, thanks Cheryl for that. If it was an equation, we would have x equals minus 2 and x equals 6. It's not an equation, so you can't just end your question like that or you'll lose the last couple of marks. A lot of people do that with inequalities and it's wrong. It's not complete yet. The critical values are important because what we're going to do is we're going to have to decide which way the inequality signs go. So we need to do a little sketch graph, which is a parabola. Oh, parabolas are funny graphs. Excellent. Label the graph minus 2 and 6. It's not difficult to sketch the graph. Now, if we look back at the inequality after it's been multiplied out, it says that this bit here, the graph must be greater than 0. The only time the graph... oh, green. Parabolas, they're just funny little graphs. Right, the only time the graph is greater than 0 is when it's like above the line, is when it's less than minus 2, so before minus 2, and bigger than 6. Those are the separate bits, okay? You can't say it's between 2 values. It's not between minus 2 and 6, so don't write it as one equality. They need to be written as 2 separate values. Now, I know this bit here, that says that you've just crossed it out, that does say that x is less than minus 2 and x is greater than 6, which it says the same thing, but you do not write it together because that's misleading. It looks like x is between 2 values, and it's not. It's the outy bits. Okay, so the final answer, write them separately. X has to be less than minus 2, or x is greater than 6. Wonderful. Next one.